This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
A new law takes effect today to protect your child's lungs. I'm Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny live at the State Department of Health with what you can do as a parent.
I'm Cameron Little. Local boaters say they have been kicked off the water for apparently not following the rules. Tonight, we asked the city to clear those muddy waters.
A city councilor is criticizing DPW for an upcoming project that uses taxpayer dollars. I'm Stephanie Wade with what the city has to say.
And good evening to you here at 6 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino.
Today, a new law goes into effect to better protect your children and their lungs.
It requires the state to educate schools about testing for a cancer-causing gas called radon.
Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny's investigation prompted this change in state law.
She joins us live with what it will mean for your child and their school. Kara.
Radon is a cancer-causing gas you can't see or smell, which is why using a test like this one is so important. Starting today, the State Department of Health has to send information to schools about radon testing. More schools, including your child's building, could soon test for the cancer-causing gas. Starting July 1st, the State Department of Health has to send school superintendents recommendations about radon testing. Protect Environmental tests Indiana schools, daycares, and businesses for radon. Chris Ferguson is a project manager with the company. What is your reaction to this law passing?
We're excited because it means it's at least on the radar with legislators. It kind of helps open the door for us to have that next level discussion of, all right, well, you've told people it's important. Now we need to move on to testing.
Indiana does not require schools to test. A bill mandating radon testing failed to get a hearing this past legislative session. The EPA recommends schools test at least once every 5 years. Some schools like Hamilton Southeastern voluntarily test for the cancer-causing gas. But Call 6 Investigates found of the state's nearly 300 public school corporations, only 4% have tested for radon in the last decade.
Nobody's going to really do anything until enough people show a concern. So if people are concerned, we recommend that you talk to your principal or your superintendent or your school board, even your teachers, because your teachers are at school longer than the kids, so they're actually more affected.
Many people don't know they've been exposed to radon until later in life when they develop lung cancer. 600 people in Indiana die from radon-related lung cancer every year. Testing for schools can run in the hundreds of dollars. Fixing the problem can cost in the thousands. But health advocates say doing nothing should not be an option.
Obviously, relative to the cost of lung cancer, it's very cheap. It's all about preventing cancer.
The State Department of Health did not provide someone to speak with us about this new law. A spokesperson says they are still working on the manual that will be distributed to schools. We're live downtown. I'm Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny.
Kara, thank you. New today, the director of Indiana's Department of Child Services is responding to a class action lawsuit filed by a group of foster children with disabilities. Call 6 Investigates broke that story last week. In the suit, the children say the state fails to protect its most vulnerable children. Today, DCS Director Terry Stigdon calls the lawsuit misleading and puzzling. Stigdon points to a number of improvements the agency has made, including more manageable caseloads for family case managers.
Put frankly, DCS is simply not the agency it used to be. And continuing to rely on an outdated, inflammatory account is misleading and harmful to children and their families. The child welfare system is far from perfect, but Indiana is steadfastly moving in the right direction.
Stigdon says despite a 20% increase in calls to the child abuse and neglect hotline since 2015, the agency answers calls within 15 seconds on average.
New rules at Eagle Creek are leaving boat owners frustrated after park rangers told them they were not allowed to put their boats in the water.
And boaters tell us the city of Indianapolis is suddenly interpreting rules differently after 40 years. And that is to keep boats out of the water and on dry land.
RTV6's Cameron Riddle takes this issue to the city and is getting answers.
90 degrees, clear skies, light winds. Not a bad day to take your boat out on the water. But here at Eagle Creek, several boats are sitting dry after boaters say park rangers said they couldn't bring their big boat motors in the water.
They would not allow me on the lake Thursday. The park ranger said if I put on the lake, they would arrest me and confiscate my boat and trailer.
Boaters tell RTV6 for several decades they've been allowed to take their boats with large motors of more than 10 horsepower into Eagle Creek Reservoir, as long as they don't turn them on and instead used a smaller, less powerful motor while on the water. That rule is on the books and posted around the waterway, but Brian Waldman, a longtime fisherman, says the way that rule is being interpreted has recently changed, possibly due to boats with large engines taking advantage and going too fast. Waldman says when he first heard of the new crackdown, he wanted to comply, so he spent nearly $2,000 on a new, smaller engine. But even after his efforts, park rangers turned him away.
When I showed up at the ramp this year with my 6-horse, I was told, because I also have a 40-horse engine on my boat, that I can't even get on with the kicker horse. And so, needless to say, I wasn't really happy, and neither are my friends, after spending that kind of money.
In a statement, the Department of Natural Resources says it is concerned because if boats aren't in the water, the state could lose revenue on fishing licenses. At Eagle Creek, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Thanks, Cameron. And this afternoon, Indy Parks responded to RTV6's questions. While they did not address the direct concerns of the boaters that called RTV6 for help, they did cite a city ordinance banning boats equipped with engines larger than 10 horsepower from entering Eagle Creek. In part, the statement says, in recent years, Indy Parks, quote, has worked with park visitors to make sure the ordinance guidelines are not only being followed, but also to ensure that we answer questions about speed limits on the reservoir. You can read the full statement on the IndyChannel.com and the RTV6 app.
As Cameron conveyed in his report there, it is a warm day with temperatures in the 90s there. A good day to get out on the water. As we get a live look from our tower cam on Monument Circle, we are sitting just below 90 degrees right now, Kyle.
Yeah, we made it to 90 today for that 3rd time in a row. So after taking a little bit of time to get going here, now we've got the momentum and we're keeping the heat in central Indiana. And it looks like we may not be done with those 90s just yet. Right now it's 88 degrees in the Circle City, but it still feels like 95. And look at this, it feels like 97 degrees Lafayette and Muncie right now. Muncie, your temperature in the middle 90s for that actual air temperature. Satellite and radar, things are quiet. We had a couple of those showers that moved through portions of Owen and Monroe County earlier, but now the clouds are thinning out. And if you're going to be heading out this evening, the main issue for you is going to be that warm temperature. Still 80 degrees by 10 o'clock as that sun sets at 9:17. Maybe you need to get that car washed. Well, maybe do it a little sooner than later, because we are going to start to see those rain chances increasing. And yeah, we've got some rain chances for the 4th of July. We'll talk a little bit more about when you can expect some wet weather in a few minutes.
I'll see you in just a few, Kyle. Thank you. Improper use of taxpayer dollars. That's how one city councilor and some residents define a new project set to launch on the northeast side.
And they say they would prefer the potholes get fixed before a biking and walking path gets added.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade has the city's response tonight.
The city councilor for this district says this project speaks to the city's, quote, skewed priorities when it comes to spending money on infrastructure and ignores other problems like the potholes on the roads.
Let's spend the money on where things are really needed, not where people don't want them.
The condition of Johnson Road is more of a concern for some neighbors than building a new bike and walk path next to it.
Obviously, this is our natural drain, so they're going to have to completely redo the drainage.
Larry Riggle says their sidewalks were also just updated and ADA accessible curbs installed a few years ago. The city would have to tear that up to make room for a proposed 10-foot wide asphalt paved Johnson Road trail.
So the sidewalks go away?
Sidewalks are gone.
And how do you feel about that?
I think it's a waste of money. They're good sidewalks. People use them every day.
The project connects the 71st Street Trail and the Fall Creek Greenway on the northeast side and creates a safer, protected lane for bikers. But neighbors who have signed this petition say it's not necessary, and the area doesn't call for it. Christine Scales, the city councilor who represents part of this area, agrees, saying her district hasn't received this little money to resurface roads in 12 years.
If you have a city councilor in a district saying this is a poor use of taxpayer dollars, why move forward with that project?
Well, the first thing I would say is that the local dollars that go into a federal project like this don't actually come from a road budget.
The director of the Department of Public Works says about 3/4 of the $1 million price tag this project will cost is coming from the federal government. The nearly $300,000 the city is putting in to match it is separate from the road resurfacing budget and wouldn't be used to fill potholes anyways.
Construction is frustrating, but when the project is done, it's going to be something we hope that each and every resident on the Northeast Side uses.
Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Stephanie, thank you. And the project was granted federal funding back in 2014. The DPW director says call the Mayor's Action Center to report a pothole, and they'll get to it according to priority. And if there's an issue like this in your neighborhood and you feel like you've run out of options on where to turn, you have someone to lean on in RTV6. Email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com, and we'll see what we can do to help.
A new bus company is stepping in now that Amtrak's Hoosier State Line is defunct. The last train ran over the weekend as funding from the state ran out and was not renewed. And the first bus from the company, Our Bus, left for Chicago today. The business hopes to pick up some of those leftover Amtrak passengers. There are other bus options between Indianapolis and Chicago, but this company runs differently. Their services are more app-based, and they offer a higher-end option for the same price. Our Bus partners with other bus companies to provide buses that are typically used for special events and athletes. And it works on a customer feedback system, making stops in smaller towns. The company says it has already received enough requests that the bus will have a stop in Zionsville. They will add more stops as requests come in.
Still ahead on the news at 6 in hiring Hoosiers. It is one of the top in-demand jobs at IU Health, and you do not need a college degree to get hired. We show you how medical assistants at IU Health are getting offered a career ladder to continue their career growth while on the job.
These law enforcement leaders are sweating it out to see who can last the longest, but still ahead, why they say this is a test of endurance, but it's anything but a game.
And it is a warm evening across central Indiana. At least it's dry, but that is going to be changing over the next several days. Those rain chances are about to rise for us. In fact, as we get a little closer to the holiday, those rain chances about 60%. A closer look at the wet timeline. You're watching RTV6 News at 6.
Every single day, Aldi. Shop differently.
Welcome back. RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers is connecting you to new employment opportunities and ways you can grow your career. One of the top in-demand jobs at IU Health is a medical assistant, with the hospital system employing 1,000 of them across the state. MAs do a wide range of patient care tasks, working both with the patients and the physicians. The job does not require a college degree, only a program that can be completed in as little as 9 months. IU Health will hire MAs and help them get certified through their newly created career ladder.
Once we get them hired, if they are not certified, we're going to help them through a career ladder so that they have opportunity to learn and grow in their jobs. We pre-fund a certification exam, set them up with a coach, make them successful on taking their exam. We have the highest pass rate in the country on CMA exams, and then they can get promoted.
IU Health employs about 1,000 MAs across the state. There are more than 100 positions available right now. IU Health also offers tuition assistance to MAs to go back to school.
When a child is left in a hot car, it's usually an accident. But today, state police are working to remind you it's an accident that you can avoid. Local first responders took part in this hot car demonstration today to shed light on the dangers of leaving a child or a pet inside a car on a hot day like today. They locked themselves inside a vehicle and stayed inside for as long as they could physically bear the heat. It was up in the 90s today, and the temperature inside the car quickly rose into the triple digits. They say this is not a game to them.
Every summer, we see these devastating stories of the child dying in a hot car. This isn't about a competition. We're not seeing who can stay in the longest. It's, we want you to talk about this. We want this to be, give you a purpose to talk about the dangers, because we all get busy.
One way to keep your brain focused on the baby or pet in the back seat, put your purse or bag in the back there with them, so you have to open the back door to get it before you leave your car.
And we are going to stay on the very warm side here for the next couple of days. Today we made it to 90. We're not far from that right now in Indianapolis at 88 degrees, 94 in Muncie. Castleton, Fishers, your temperatures still in the lower 90s and those heat index values mid to upper 90s right now. Not getting any relief from any downpours out there this evening. The flip side of that means we're not having to deal with any severe weather. We had some wind damage with the thunderstorms yesterday, so none of that this evening. Those temperatures, though, they're going to stay warm. 71 will be the overnight low with partly cloudy skies for us. And as we look at your Tuesday forecast, take you hour by hour here, those temperatures, yeah, they warm pretty quickly. How about 82 degrees by 10 a.m., 86 for your lunchtime temperature tomorrow, and we'll get around 90 degrees for that afternoon high on Tuesday with partly sunny skies. 90 for you, Logansport, Kokomo, and Marion, Indiana. 91 in Anderson. We'll find those temperatures right around 90 degrees along I-70, 90 in Rockville, 91 in Indy and Shelbyville, and maybe into the upper 80s here around Bloomington and Bedford. That would be the result of a couple of downpours moving through. So let's show you TrueCast. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, isolated downpour. Then we start to see a few more of those filtering in. So our rain chance about 30%. So not everyone's going to see the rain. I think the biggest issue for any of those rain downpours tomorrow are going to be the heavy rainfall and the frequent lightning. You notice in the Wednesday forecast, though, those rain chances becoming a little more prevalent, and that's going to be the case in our 4th of July forecast as well. We're not talking about a washout here, but certainly may have to work with the weather here and kind of adjust those plans as we go into your Thursday. Still going to be a warm day, though, with 87 for that afternoon high. 7-day planning forecast, we put it all together here for you, and those highs the next couple of days are going to be right around 90 degrees, and we're going to have even higher humidity levels heading into tomorrow afternoon. So again, the heat index value mid to upper 90s here. Chance for showers and thunderstorms as we take you through the end of the week. So it's a daily chance of rain. It increases a little bit here with highs that will come down a bit as a result of the increasing rain chances. 86 for you on Friday. Next weekend, we've got about a 60% chance of some rain on Saturday. That diminishes a little bit as we go into your Sunday. 85, that's right where we should be for this time of year, and finally getting rid of those rain chances by Monday.
All right, holiday week. A lot of people looking to see
the forecast is going to be important. Right? That's right.
All right, thanks, Kyle, for that.
Thank you. Well, we have Brad standing by. A lot going on with the Pacers right now, Brad.
Indeed, a busy time right now. Amanda, thanks. Good evening, everyone. The NBA has what is called a free agency moratorium. There's 6 days where officially nothing can be made or announced as far as deals go, but social media has pretty much made that obsolete. The Pacers made some major moves on Sunday and today. Nothing will be official until the end of the week, though, but we'll go along with it anyway. Among the big additions is guard Malcolm Brogdon, formerly with the Bucks. He was Rookie of the Year in 2017. More than 15 points per game last season. Shot better than 40% from three-point range. Reports are it's a 5-year, $85 million deal with Indiana. Said to be a sign-and-trade deal. The Pacers will be sending their 2020 first-round pick and 2 future second-round picks to Milwaukee. Brogdon has been a very solid defender as well. Looks to be a long-term guy here at this point. Pacers also adding guard Jeremy Lamb from the Hornets. Solid role player with Charlotte. 15 points per game. The report on that one, 3 years, $31 million. The other headlines are the departures. Bojan Bogdanovic reportedly heading to Utah. Thaddeus Young is reported to be going to the Bulls. And just about an hour ago, Wesley Matthews signing a deal with the Bucks. Of course, there was also that sudden retirement of Darren Collison. Don't be surprised if the Pacers make another signing or 2 before the end of this week.
This is just the warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the warm-up.
And there is Victor Oladipo continuing to rehab that reconstructed quad tendon down in Florida, posting a lot of video to YouTube over the weekend. Pacers VP Kevin Pritchard has said they are going to be, quote, methodical about getting Vic back in action in 2019. We will see exactly what that means in a matter of a few weeks. Well, this weekend saw another huge sports event get started in downtown Indianapolis. USA Volleyball is hosting its Girls Junior National Championships here, and this tourney is big business. The tournament has taken over most of the convention center for a 10-day stretch. Started last Thursday, runs all of this week. Girls ages 11 to 18 competing for national titles. More than 14,000 athletes will bring more than 55,000 people downtown this week. I talked with USA Volleyball's Jasmine Sapp about why the Circle City has become a hub in the national volleyball scene.
So we have a bunch of hotel options, a bunch of food options. You know, the city of Indy is great to work with. Everybody's so welcoming and hospitable. hospitality is great, so we love it here in Indy. We definitely need everybody under one roof. Right now we have 76 courts with 27 divisions on there. We have 1,295 teams, so it's a lot.
It is a lot indeed. Tonight at 11, more on volleyball's big presence in Indy and how college programs are using these tourneys as a major recruiting tool. I'll have that in our Sports Extra Spotlight. Finally this evening, back up to South Bend. We were there for a preview of the U.S. Senior Open, and Steve Strickert took over and finished the weekend 19 under par, a record 6-stroke victory. Started with a round of 62 last Thursday, never looked back. It was his first appearance in this tournament, and he'll be taking home another major championship trophy. The Indians are on the road tonight. 3 more there. They'll be back home on the 4th of July, as we'll be keeping a close eye on that forecast with Kyle as well. Time for a final break. Back to wrap up the news at 6 next.
The Ashley Home Store, now open in Whitestown.
Cannabis is good for our people and good for our state. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your smiles make me happy. I love you all.
And now the man who leads the First Church of Cannabis in Indianapolis says he wants to be governor. Bill Levin tells RTV6 he will seek the Libertarian Party's nomination for governor when the party holds its convention next spring. Levin and the Church of Cannabis recently celebrated their 4th anniversary. They still can't legally use marijuana in their church, and Levin says he plans on making the legalization of marijuana the main part of his platform. Kyle's here now with a final check of your forecast.
Yeah, and it's going to be a steamy one here for the next couple of days. There you can see temperatures are in the 80s to around 90 degrees. It's 90 in Tipton at this point. As we go into the next couple of days, we're going to see those temperatures staying on the warm side. If we can get over to max B, that would be helpful. Thank you. All right, we've got scattered shower and thunderstorm chances here. That does start to bring down those temperatures just a little bit, with highs into the middle 80s here for the upcoming weekend.
So it's a steamy evening out there.
This is when you start carrying around those portable little fans everywhere you go.
Where you spritz your face. Yeah, exactly.
We'll be back
World News is next.